New hardware being added to the static fire flame trench at Massey's. Tower 2 ship quick disconnect hardware spotted at Sanchez. Booster 19's LOX landing tank moved to Mega Bay 1 at the build site. And the deluge plate at Pad 1 is nearly gone at the launch site. Hey everyone, Jeff A here. Welcome to RGV Aerial Photography's Starbase Flyover update number 110. This week's flight was delayed until Wednesday, December 10th, following a weekend of fog and low clouds. The wait was worth it though, as the flyover took place under a cloudless sunny sky. Join us as the RGV team shares some of the highlights seen this week from 6,000 feet above Starbase. Oh, and before I forget, why not check out the RGV merch store and treat yourself for the holiday season? With a bunch of tees like this, with a logo in the back and some heat tiles in the front, and this hoodie with the Cessna on the front. Now, let's start over at the Massey's test facility. Here's a look at one of our newly redesigned layout maps to help you find a way around the site. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks to Proky for creating them. Beginning at the static fire stand, we can see some new components and hardware being welded to the static fire stand pedestals. A speculated ship access structure is starting to take shape. Across from the ship cryo stand, two of the larger frames assembled at Sanchez have been staged. Two smaller frames have also been staged to the side of the flame trench exit. And finally, a new bridge-like structure that may sit atop the main structure is staged to the south of the flame trench. In this render from Chrome Kiwi, we can visualize how the various parts observed over the last few flyovers may come together. SpaceX's new Tadano crane is being set up to aid with this construction. Its HD winch and counterbalance tray is on the truck to the side. Moving to the gantry, the main flex hoses have been installed. Three of the smaller hoses still to be installed are to the side of the stand. The two largest sloped wall sections connected to the flues bunker have been poured, and crews are pouring additional walls extending to the blast shielding to better protect the pipeworks for any future anomalies. Additionally, the area between these have rebar to create walls. New HESCO barriers have been placed at the rear of the site. The plumbing seen here runs to the gaseous nitrogen system and to the water deluge's liquid nitrogen system. This area is possibly for destructive testing. A crane is using a concreting hopper to fill the HESCO with gravel. Over at the booster cryo stand, it now sits empty after Booster 18's aft section was removed and transported to Sanchez, but more on that booster later. At the structural test area, the 39.1 shipped aft test tank has conducted 3 cryogenic proof tests on the 4th, 5th and 6th of December. The first being a partial load and the other two being full loads. SpaceX appear to be gearing up for another round of Test Tank 17 testing, with rams being reinstalled and some new pipework connected to the aft section of the test article. Next to Test Tank 18.3, new structural beams have been spotted, as well as a new X-frame near the boundary of the site, possibly preparing for more testing of 18.3. Under the liquid oxygen tanks, some new high-pressure gas tanks are being installed. Next to 39.1 are some of the remains of Booster 18. Taking a quick look at the methane side of the tank farm, the blast wall is nearly complete, with the final section of the wall poured. At the time of writing on December 11th, the first signs of life appeared for the methane tank farm as it vented for the first time. This could be part of the commissioning process. Now let's make our way to Sanchez. Here's a labelled map of the site. Take a moment to pause if you need some extra time. Starting at the stand construction area, the conversion of the second booster transport stand work has moved to installing the clamps on the end of the arms. Looking further along, the first ship transport stand has been moved and work on a second one has started, with 5 sections welded together and the next 3 sections waiting. There are more truss sections for the new static fire stand structure at Massey's. A slightly different shaped one can be seen where the recent section was assembled. Closer to the GSC building, there are 2 more pieces of this ongoing puzzle. Major progress has been made on the SQD extension this week. In this overhead photo, we can see the steel work for the main actuator to move the SQD interface horizontally to engage with the ship. Off to one side, the moving part just mentioned has been assembled, including the actual interface. It looks like all of the parts for completing the SQD arm are now on site and should be installed over the next few weeks. Catwalks have also been added on top. The associated flex lines are now staged to the other side. Near the SQD arm extension, this catwalk section with 5 junction boxes neared completion and was later relocated to the launch site for installation on the chopstick carriage. This frame section next to the SQD hardware was also moved to the launch site. We'll speak more about these once we get to the launch site. The large doorways on both front and back of the old power plant buildings are being closed in with some purlongs added to mount some wall panels. In the SPMT storage area, 2 new curved structures have been seen. It's unclear what they may be for, so let us know what you think in the comments below. At the rocket garden, Booster 18's aft section was rolled back from masses on December 6th and parked beside the version 2 aft of Booster 17. Once again, we were able to get some extremely detailed images of the new version's design. The scrapyard area has been cleaned up significantly with Booster 17's forward and common dome sections, and Booster 18's forward dome sections remaining. Finally, there is some drainage work underway on the boundary near Booster 18's aft. Just before moving to the build site, we'd like to thank all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Remember, all the patrons get to participate in our Discord show and tell sessions on the same day of each flight. Here you can join in the discussions and ask your own questions. YouTube members also get to watch and listen in with a live chat function. At the Gigabay, work is well underway on the second level of the building, with stairs being installed in the corners of the building, and on the Star Factory side, the openings have been bridged at the 5th main floor. In the back corner of the Star Factory side, crews are also beginning to fill in the voids around each column with concrete. In the middle of the bay, some additional columns have been prepared with concrete with rebar installed. Several concrete trucks were seen in this area the following morning. Moving to Megabay 1, we can see Booster 19's liquid oxygen landing tank sitting outside. It was then rolled into the bay on the morning of the 11th. Only the aft section remains to complete the LOX tank, which may happen by the time this episode is released. Once this happens, the stacking of the methane tank should promptly begin. Taking a quick look at the apartment building, work is continuing installing the cladding system to the building. Along the parking garage wall, panelling is being installed on the middle levels with framework being assembled across the top. The triangular end of the building is also seeing installation of parapet walls. One near the edge is part of the outer facade, and a taller one set back further that appears to line up with a change in wall height along the parking garage wall. Near the front of the village, work has continued on the landscaping that now isolates the parking areas where the old Tesla Megapacks and tracking station areas once were. Let's move over to the launch site. Here's a labelled map from this week's images. You know the drill, pause the video if you need more time to look it over. Starting at the ASU site, compressor hardware has arrived and is being installed. In the middle of the slab, cooling tanks are placed with the 2 compressors installed in line with the concrete pedestals for the drive motors. This blue object is one of the motors, with a second delivered later in the day. As of the 13th, both motors have been installed, however drive shafts to connect the motors to the compressors have not yet been installed. Moving over to pad 2, the first hold-down arm cover has been lifted into place. The remaining doors is still at Sanchez, so this first one may be a fit check ahead of full installation of the remaining 19. Additional welding within the launch mount has returned. 2 large generators and dozens of the cables that power the heating blankets can be seen next to the mount. At the base of the GSC building, the second blast door is now installed. Near the retention pond, 4 bulkhead doors have been staged for installation. The Tower 2 chopsticks have seen some activity this week. Scaffolding has been installed at the actuator mounts to allow crews to remove the actuators. Near the flame trench, several pallets of notched tubing sections and other steel pieces that are consistent with the chopstick modifications are staged. It's possible the sticks are getting some structural upgrades. Further upgrades are also seen on the chopstick carriage. As previously mentioned, this frame with 4 junction boxes has been removed and replaced with the new assembly from Sanchez on the 11th. Moving up to the SQD arm, the top cryopipe swivel has been connected to the tower. At the lower swivel, pipes have been connected but don't appear attached to the tower plumbing. At the D1 entrance, construction of the perimeter retention wall has commenced, as expected following the relocation of the tent. The D2 entrance has been fenced off while concrete crews prepare a new driveway slab between the megabunker and the pump farm. Near the commodities trench, the final pump motor for the methane pump farm has been delivered. An item matching the pump was also spotted but didn't stay at the launch site. At the original tank farm, these 2 methane tanks have been removed. Near the new methane tanks, the excavated culvert has been filled with a new concrete slab. A new valve sled has been placed here with 2 tank supports for the installation of the new horizontal tank that arrived several weeks ago. Purpose of that tank is still unknown. Turning to Pad 1, crews have made short work of the deluge plate. The centre is nearly gone with only 4 sections remaining, which include the 3 inlet manifolds. To the side of the pad, several of the removed segments are stacked up. The embed plates used to secure the plate to the pile cap can be seen still attached. Well, that's it for episode 110 of Starbase Flyover Update. Thank you for choosing to fly with RGV aerial photography, and we hope you all enjoyed the flight. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe for more episodes and content so you don't miss out on new videos each week, and leave a thumbs up. If you like your YouTube content in a longer, more detailed form, please join us live on Tuesdays at 7 PM Central for our new deep dive show Beyond the Pad, and on Saturdays at midday Central for our weekly Flyover livestream. To receive the latest images and to join in the conversations on the day they are taken, please consider joining RGV's Patreon. And finally, if you've made it this far, you can check out all the previous Flyover updates here. I'm Jeff A, and I'll see you next week from 6,000 feet.